The first F-47 sixth-generation stealth fighter for the US.
F-47 flying in 2028. That's what they're targeting.
Rising over the secluded test grounds near Groom Lake, an area synonymous with American aerospace secrecy, the silhouette of a new fighter arcs against a muted sky, angular, substantial, and strikingly unfamiliar. Almost invisible in its motion, it represents both a continuation and a dramatic departure from everything seen before. This is the F-47, America's emergent sixth-generation combat aircraft, and, according to available information, perhaps the most significant leap in US airpower since the inception of stealth technology. Though much about the F-47 remains classified, official acknowledgements, obtained documents, and credible industry insights reveal a carefully evolving project. A quiet revolution assembled in hidden laboratories, high-security hangars, and remote test ranges across the American Southwest. Today, we examine what the US government has conceded in carefully worded statements and documents, the context surrounding major contracts, and the vision for a fighter meant to move beyond the iconic F-22 Raptor. Rumors have long dogged the program, with detractors dismissing the F-47 as a PowerPoint jet, a project of speculation and fantasy. Yet leaks and indirect references continue to emerge, reaffirming the reality and urgency of the program. The most persistent reports describe an aircraft that is more than twice the size and 3 times the weight of current fighters, an ambitious leap in both capability and strategic reach. The F-47 is reportedly built not just to operate alone, but to command a formation of advanced, AI-enabled unmanned aerial vehicles, reflecting a new model of collaborative air warfare. Its very designation, confirmed by former President Donald Trump in documents obtained via the Freedom of Information Act and referenced in connection with major next-generation fighter contracts, lends credence to the project's significance. As we examine the available details, filtered through official statements, technical requirements, and what can be inferred from industry sources, a fundamental question emerges. What core advancements does the F-47 embody, and why have so many details remained shielded from public view? Birth of an icon. From the F-22 Raptor to the F-47. Since entering service, the F-22 Raptor established itself as a benchmark for air dominance, an agile, stealthy platform unmatched in its era. F-22 pilots have long noted the jet's supercruise capability, radar evasion, and dogfight superiority. For many years, the Raptor safeguarded a decisive American lead in air power, but technological parity is not static. Potential rivals have invested heavily in anti-access/area denial systems, advanced missile arrays, and networks of ground-based sensors, increasing both the danger and complexity of future air combat. Advancements such as hypersonic missiles and next-generation radar systems have blurred the boundaries of survivability for even the most capable 4th and 5th generation fighters. The F-47 arose from not just a need for incremental gains, but from a recognition that the underlying doctrine of air combat was due for a profound shift. According to documents and official acknowledgements, including references by President Trump, the F-47 is set to be the designated replacement for the F-22, a platform designed for a generational leap rather than gradual refinement. The F-47's development is directly linked to the Pentagon's most classified next-generation air dominance initiatives, with mandates to surpass the abilities of current US fighters in every meaningful way. This transformation is not merely technological, but strategic and political as well. The changing technological landscape demanded a solution that could operate in and dominate the most contested airspace, outmaneuvering both modern sensor grids and missile defenses. Thus, the parameters for the F-47 went far beyond speed or agility. The aircraft was conceived as a strategic network node, capable of operating far beyond the front lines, engaging in multi-domain warfare, and surviving inside heavily defended territories for extended durations. In responding to evolving threats and operational realities, the F-47 program embodies a doctrinal pivot, envisioning air dominance not as the singular domain of a lone pilot and fighter, but as an interconnected system where information, endurance, and adaptability are as critical as raw performance. The engine of change, advanced propulsion and stealth. The F-47's reportedly large airframe marks a marked departure from traditional fighter design philosophies. Industry reporting suggests the jet is more than twice the size and up to 3 times the weight of current US fighters. This design is not an end in itself, but a direct response to new strategic requirements, chief among them, endurance and operational reach. Key to these ambitions is propulsion. Unclassified sources consistently emphasize advanced engines as central to the F-47's design. Beyond increased thrust, these power plants are engineered for efficiency, allowing the aircraft to achieve a striking increase in range and loiter time. Existing data points to at least a 25% improvement in operational reach over current US fighters, representing a substantial extension of combat radius. For context, if the F-22's combat radius set a previous standard, the F-47's capabilities redraw the map, potentially enabling operations deep within contested airspace, beyond the protective cover provided by aerial refueling or support assets. Stealth remains another cornerstone. Reports and analyses note that the F-47's shaping and materials are meant to defeat not only traditional radar bands, but also advanced adversary sensors, such as low-frequency radars and multispectral detection systems. This approach, sometimes described as full-spectrum ghosting, is driven by the reality of recent conflicts and war games, where survival depends upon minimizing exposure across radar, infrared, and other sensor domains. Although specifics remain classified, available commentary on the program stresses survivability and multi-domain signature management on a scale not previously attempted. The jet's engines, though publicly described only as advanced, likely feature variable cycle technology, providing both high thrust and high fuel efficiency in a single system. In addition, these engines are believed to supply surplus electrical power, supporting an array of next-generation avionics, sensors, and potentially active electronic warfare systems. While concrete details are not available, the focus on energy management hints at a move toward platforms capable of integrating future advances, including cyber-resilient avionics and directed energy defenses. By fusing extended range, enhanced stealth, and high onboard power availability, the F-47 aims to maintain air dominance in environments saturated with long-range missiles and layered detection systems. In theory, this allows the jet to penetrate where few others can, expanding the operational envelope for US and allied air forces and setting new standards for survivability. AI and collaborative combat, the new team dynamic. Perhaps most transformative is the F-47's approach to AI-driven collaborative combat. Whereas previous generations of fighters emphasized individual pilot skill and platform performance, the F-47 is being designed from the outset for integrated operations, controlling a suite of semi-autonomous unmanned aerial vehicles. This evolution is not merely technical, but doctrinal, heralding a shift in how air superiority will be achieved in the future. Emerging Pentagon statements and industry briefings repeatedly reference the concept of collaborative combat. The F-47 will serve as the command node of a formation that includes AI-enabled loyal wingmen, unmanned systems that can execute a spectrum of missions from electronic attack and reconnaissance to kinetic strike and decoy operations. These collaborative platforms are not expendable drones, as in earlier programs, but sophisticated assets capable of independent action, secure data sharing, and adaptive decision-making. This approach is explicitly intended to address the escalating threat posed by dense, multi-layered air defense systems. By operating as part of a human-machine team, the F-47 can engage threats at greater standoff distances, probe and disrupt enemy sensor networks, or employ unmanned vehicles to absorb risk and conduct complex operations that would otherwise be deemed too dangerous for human pilots. The operational rationale is compelling. The denser and more sophisticated defensive environments become, the less tenable it is to risk a single manned jet in isolation. Collaborative combat expands tactical flexibility, enables simultaneous operations across a wide battle space, and creates persistent dilemmas for potential adversaries who must account for distributed, unpredictable threats. This new model of air combat is only made possible by advances in AI and communications. The F-47's mission systems are reportedly engineered for advanced sensor fusion, resilient networking, and anti-jamming capability, creating an airborne combat cloud, where data is pooled and decisions are shared across all platforms in the formation. In effect, the pilot becomes both a commander and a network manager, supervising, but not directly controlling, a constellation of intelligent assets. The rise of this team-based paradigm not only redefines tactical employment, but also recalibrates the very nature of survivability and mass in the air. Future battles will require not just the best aircraft, but the most adaptable and integrated force of both human and machine elements. A shift with far-reaching implications for training, procurement, and coalition operations. Operational secrecy and strategic ambiguity. Despite the mounting body of evidence regarding the F-47, much remains tightly held behind layers of classification. The Pentagon publicly names the F-47 as its next-generation fighter, but extensive details remain obscured, whether regarding the jet's first flight, testing milestones, or even its precise inventory and deployment plans. Reports continue to circulate about a first test flight taking place as many as 5 years ago, though these claims remain unverified in open sources. This ambiguity is by design. No great power reveals the full extent of its most sensitive capabilities willingly. Instead, partial disclosures, such as references to the F-47 designation or brief mentions in defense hearings, are used to assert technological progress, complicate enemy intelligence efforts, and induce caution or overinvestment among rival states. This secrecy serves both operational and strategic purposes. For adversaries, it produces uncertainty about the U.S. military's true capacity for deep penetration, persistence, and air defense suppression. If the F-47 is indeed flying and progressing toward deployment, it signals a fundamental change in the risk calculus for any competitor considering a direct challenge. If it is still in advanced testing or simulation, the mere uncertainty forces adversaries to hedge and potentially overextend their resources, countering a capability that may not yet exist. Within the US, this level of secrecy sparks debate about oversight, accountability, and alignment of technological goals with national security priorities. What is clear is that the F-47 is being intentionally positioned as both a technological achievement and a component of strategic messaging, demonstrating intent, shaping global perceptions, and building deterrence through ambiguity. Moreover, even the jet's nomenclature, F-47, NGAD, Next Generation Air Dominance, or other program references, serves this dual-purpose communication, reinforcing the United States' ongoing commitment to unmatched air power without revealing the operational details that could aid foreign development programs. Strategic impact, shifting the balance of air power. The import of the F-47 program goes beyond its hardware. The expanded operational range, at least 25% greater than current fighters, has concrete strategic implications. It allows US and allied forces to base aircraft farther from frontline threats, mitigating vulnerability to long-range missile strikes against air bases and logistics points. This new reach supports not only the defense of allies and distant territories, but also enhances crisis response and flexibility, where forward basing may not be possible. Stealth, as implemented in the F-47, is adapted for an environment in which adversaries field increasingly diverse and intelligent sensors. While details are classified, the intent is to combine shaping, advanced materials, and emissions control to frustrate modern detection methods. Together with enhanced range, this enables the US to project power and maintain freedom of maneuver in contested theaters, whether in the Indo-Pacific, Europe, or elsewhere. However, the most significant doctrinal development is the collaborative combat model itself. This process transforms the fighter aircraft from a solitary combatant to the center of a distributed, digital formation, a force multiplier capable of managing and integrating unmanned wingmen dynamically. Even outside of direct conflict, the presence of such capabilities can force adversaries into disproportionate responses, stretching their resources and increasing both the financial and technical burdens of countering U.S. air power. In practical terms, this also means training, procurement, and operational concepts among U.S. allies and coalition partners must adapt in parallel. Exercises are beginning to incorporate data sharing, networked threat response, and distributed decision-making between manned and unmanned platforms. This evolution ensures that Allied air forces remain interoperable and relevant in an era where single-platform dominance is giving way to coordinated multi-domain operations, international response, and the acceleration of innovation. The implications of even partial F-47 disclosure are global. Among U.S. allies, the jet serves as both an assurance of technical leadership and a benchmark for future joint operations. Air forces from Europe to the Pacific observe the F-47 as a focal point for setting next-generation standards, encouraging revisions to doctrine, investments in secure communications, and renewed emphasis on manned-unmanned teaming. For potential adversaries, the prospect of a platform with greatly increased range, stealth, endurance, and AI-enabled networking is cause for renewed urgency. Even incomplete knowledge about the F-47's capabilities can drive increased investment in advanced radar, missile defenses, cyber countermeasures, and anti-AI technologies. This, in turn, accelerates the broader cycle of international military innovation, requiring nations to continually reassess their priorities, budgets, and research trajectories in response to perceived shifts in the balance of power. In this dynamic, the F-47 is both a catalyst and a deterrent, spurring allies to deepen integration while complicating the strategic calculations of rivals, who must now plan for an array of scenarios and capabilities, not all of which can be credibly addressed with their current technologies, a future of persistent adaptation. The F-47 represents not just the next stage of fighter development, but a milestone in the long-running contest for air superiority. Its combination of extended endurance, advanced stealth, and manned-unmanned collaboration signals a new era in which battles are won as much by adaptability and network effects as by individual performance. While many details remain restricted or unexplained by public sources, the trajectory is clear. The F-47 embodies a shift toward distributed, resilient, and integrated aerial warfighting. As Secrecy continues to shape perceptions, the program amplifies uncertainty and compels rivals to account for new and evolving forms of deterrence, making ambiguity itself a strategic asset. For decades, each American technological advance in air power has forced adversaries and allies alike to rethink their own futures. The F-47's anticipated introduction, though still wrapped in classified secrecy, follows this tradition, setting a new standard for what is possible and necessary in the ongoing race for air dominance. The F-47's story is about much more than advanced technology. It reflects a new paradigm in warfare and strategy. By integrating extended range, advanced stealth, and unprecedented AI collaboration, the F-47 redefines the very concept of air power for a new era. Its secrets may remain protected for now, but the implications are already influencing the future of global security, military planning, and international competition. As technology, doctrine, and alliances continue to evolve rapidly, one reality stands out. The emergence of the F-47 is not just the next step in American air power, but a defining moment that will shape the course of aerial warfare and the balance of power for years to come.